Hello, I'm back. It's been a while. So I need to get in gear and start making these videos once a week. If not for you, then at least for me. So, or at least once every 2 weeks, that would be okay. Maybe once a week is going to be too much. But the good news is I've been painting a lot. And I've done some wonderful paintings that I'm really excited about showing to you. There's so many things I could talk about and wander off the point, and I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on the paintings and talk about them. So this is the first one. I'm so happy with this. So this is painted on very cheap paper. But first of all, let me tell you the place. So this is called Takachiho Gorge. So I went here with my family not long ago, maybe about 4 weeks ago. And to be honest, it didn't look like it was going to be like a good time because the weather was really bad. It was cloudy, it rained a little, and obviously I'm in a gorge, so it was a bit gloomy. And I did some video footage and I will make a video of it now, but at first I thought I can't do a painting of this place because normally I like to, let me put this down because I can't think and hold at the same time. Because normally in all my paintings, I need sunlight, I need light and shade. It's so important for my paintings. So I thought I'm not going to be able to do a good painting here. But maybe there was a little voice in my head. Thank you very much. Maybe there was a little voice in my head that said, have a go. And luckily, I followed that advice and I had a go. And it turned out wonderful. And something I will add, which is very interesting, was I painted this on, maybe I said this, cheap watercolor paper. And it was just meant to be like a beginning sketch or experiment, like feeling my way into the scene. And, because there are a lot of things here, that were challenging for me, and I didn't want the what's the word, Gareth? I didn't want the pressure, of having to get a lot of difficult things right in the first painting. So that's why I didn't do it on good quality paper. It would be too intimidating. I'd be having to be careful, and that doesn't work because there are a lot of things here that I needed to just that I hadn't painted before or hadn't painted for a long time, and I needed that space in which to have a go without the sense of you've got to get it right this first time. So for example, the rocks. So the rocks were really weird. So weird, they look man-made, especially at the bottom. You can't see it here. Here you can see it. I mean, it looks like the kind of foundations or whatever of a high-rise building, right? They really look, maybe I made them a bit curvier than they are, but they really look like man-made. And I even thought, have they reinforced them with concrete? And I don't think they have, but they look so man-made, And over here, it's different, but they look like tiles on a Japanese roof. I have to be careful, I'm holding it and my fingers are sweating. So they look like tiles on a Japanese roof. And it was such a challenge to paint them the way they are, but very beautiful. And I'm so happy with this, really happy with this, and this as well. And then the next really difficult thing was all these little ripples or whatever in the water. And because I was painting on cheap paper, I just really went for it. I didn't care. And that is a big piece of advice if you are a beginner watercolor artist. You want to be in a state of mind where, of course, in a way you do care, but you want to paint in a way like, if this just becomes crap, that's fine. I just throw it in the bin. Because if you can paint like that, you paint with a kind of fluidness and relaxedness, and you really need that in watercolor painting, because your brush strokes will be very expressive, and people, when they look at your paintings, and you too, you'll be able to feel that when you look at it. So it's very important. And that's how I did this, all these waves, ripples, and I'm so happy with them. I think they look fantastic. And I'm also very happy with these cute boats. Don't they look cute? They look so cute. And I'm so happy with them. Yeah, and then also like the waterfalls themselves, aren't they beautiful? That worked out really well, and that was a bit challenging too. I've done waterfalls before, but it's been challenging, and it's been a long time since I've done them, so you forget, you know. I mean, that's another good reason to make these videos on YouTube, in order to remember, you know, how did I tackle that? You know, how did I approach it? So, you know, I did a lot of dry brush. Dry brush is very important, I find, when I do waterfalls, you know. And of course, always observing. And I think that's very hard. I don't mean to be insulting here. If I'm insulting and millennials are watching this, or people younger than millennials, then I apologize. You know, every generation has their faults. Let me say that. We all have our faults. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. But you know, one of the important things, and it's tricky, that you need to do to get good at painting, is you need to be able to calm down, you know, learn a little bit of meditation, learn a little bit of breathing, and just look at what you're going to paint. Because even I find it difficult. And I used to be good at meditation, but even I find this difficult. And just look at the subject. And it can be very intimidating at first. It really can, at least for me. And then just carefully just relax, observe it, and start to see if you can find those patterns, because it's going to save you years. It's going to save you years and years of practice if you can start to see those patterns. And don't get frightened or overwhelmed if you can't see them at first. Maybe you just can't at first, but as you practice bit by bit, it does come. And once you start to see that, those shapes, those patterns, it's really going to help you so much. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. And then I'm really happy with this foliage I did. And once again, I was a bit worried about doing this. I thought I'm going to ruin the picture. But I'm really happy with these individual things, individual leaves I did here. And that was a mix of white paint and a green mix. Yeah. And the green mix was like a yellow, like a midazolone yellow, and it's difficult to say that, and cerulean blue, at least for me. And I just can't believe how well this turned out. It's a finished painting. And I did my full name now, because I don't want to get sidetracked here, but as an artist, sometimes we hide. We do the painting, we practice real hard, we get real good, and then guess what? We don't sign our work, which I didn't do for years and years and years, or I did sign my work, but it was just my initials, GN. Nobody knows who GN is. So I've got my work at a gallery. I've had it there for 6 or 7 years. I've sold, I don't know how many paintings I've sold, 10, 15, but those people don't know who I am. And now when they buy a painting, this is the first time after 7 years. Can you believe that? Sorry, I've got a very dry throat, but I fight on, yeah? Finally, this year, after 20 years of painting, I've started to put my full name. So when people buy a painting now, it's like, oh, Gareth Naylor. They type my name and then my website appears. And hopefully my shop, where I've got these beautiful prints that are so cheap to buy and look beautiful, like that print up there from Miyazaki. You know, my work's great. And I can even say that now in a humble way. It's really, really fantastic. But I just didn't have the whatever it is I hid. I didn't show my name. And so people never knew who I was. For whatever reason that is. But moving on. Maybe last time I showed you this one. So this is a street right next to where I live. And it's a beautiful painting, but the most amazing thing about this is the lack of colour. There's so few colours in this, and yet it looks beautiful. And the message for me when looking at this painting is I need to do more like rainy scenes and rainy urban scenes, because I'm very good at this, and make them very black and white with just a hint of colour. You know, I can already envision that's going to be good. I don't know when I'm going to get round to that because I'm very busy at the moment, but this is like a message to myself. I need to do more rainy urban scenes with like black, that are mostly black and white, and then a touch of colour, like colour glazes or little bits of colour within that black and white scene. And one of the things I'm really glad about in this scene is I love this little bit of white here. It draws the eye right into that bit there. And I'm also glad about this patchy texture I created here. So that was new for me, and it worked out really well. Just dry brush, using white mixed with a bit of grey or blue. And I did really well with that texture. And I love the lines like that. I just loved them. They work so well. So yeah, super happy with that. Okay, next thing. So in 2022, I went on this painting trip in August. It's super hot, super humid. And I went to another island. It was a big trip for me. It took a bit of courage, to be honest. I went all by myself. Just a minute. Sorry, I've got this condition. God knows what it is. And I went to an island called Shikoku. So the ferry trip is just 1 hour and 10 minutes, but it was amazing. And I saw some beautiful scenes. And one of the scenes I saw is, so let me say, one of the most interesting things about the whole trip is there's this peninsula, and it's super long. When you look at it on the map, it's almost like a knife. It's so long. And it's a weird place. It's got a lighthouse on the end that's very dramatic. Hopefully last time I showed you the lighthouse paintings. If I didn't, I'm sorry, and I might not have them here. But also it's got these wind turbines, and I heard them when I was driving along, and it was all misty and rainy, and it was kind of spooky, and you heard this whoosh, 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 whoosh. And the weather changed a lot. Like when you got to where the sea is, it was beautiful and clear. But when I was driving along, it became cloudy and even rainy. The weather changed so quickly. And where the peninsula begins, there's even a nuclear power station, just to make it even more eerie. And I never saw that, but I knew that was there somewhere. But anyway, near the end of the peninsula, there was this place, and it was so beautiful. To be honest, I'm happy with this, but I still think it could be even better. And I just love the vastness of the sea that I saw. And I loved the surface patterns of the sea. So beautiful. You know, you had this like kind of like a line coming towards this tip, this edge of the peninsula, and it was fantastic. And then you had this movement of the waves here. It's beautiful. And then here, this lovely cobalt green colour. And I just loved it. And then here, there was this big chunk of rock in the sea. This is huge, by the way. I mean, these little rocks here, these are huge. These are huge. I mean, it's epic. And the sky was beautiful. It was like a very, very delicate sky, but with lots of lovely colours. And I'm really happy with what I've done, but it needs to be more. And one day I will get there. I'm happy with this, but yeah, I've got that vision in my head, and one day I will reach it or get very close. And I'd love one day to get to this beach. I don't think you can get to it from here. You maybe have to get to it by boat, but it must look amazing. And I'm really happy with this grass in the foreground. At first, to be honest, I know I've said that a lot in this video, but it's just the truth. I was really intimidated by this grass. I just thought, I'm not going to be able to paint that correctly. And so I can't do this painting, and that held me back. And I'm really glad that I had a go. And it actually worked out being really good. So I just love this scene, and it's scenes like this that kind of made me want to be an artist or continue. I love these places. You know, I just feel something, and it's that feeling that is the reason why I paint. And look at this, doesn't it look beautiful? So this is another scene from Shikoku, and the prefecture is called Ehime. So the island is called Shikoku. So Japan's made up of 4 big islands, yeah? Hokkaido in the north, Honshu, which is the main island, Kyushu, where I live, which is below, and then Shikoku, which I think is the smallest, and that's right next to Kyushu. So this is from my drone, so which has sadly had a death at sea last year, but I've got a new one now. It was so expensive. But moving on. So I'm learning how to make fantastic skies that have, you know, beautiful, like not that capture that are not like super simple, that capture some of the complicatedness of real skies, but also have brilliant colours. And I'm so happy with this painting. I love the sweeping clouds. You know, it just moves my heart. I love the warm colours. I'm so happy with these powerful rocks. You know, it's one thing to see these places and experience that, but to actually be able to convey some of that beauty is like, it's like mission accomplished. I can die now. I did it. I can die now. I was successful, you know, because that was really my main aim, you know, to be able to express that, you know. And I'm so happy with the sea. I got the sea looking really good, you know, that sparkly effect, that all those waves. I mean, that's so complicated. And that lovely Japanese boat. Yeah, it sounds like I'm really praising myself. And doesn't my name look good? At first I thought writing my name out in full looked real, it just looked kind of like typewriter and rubbish, because when I did my initials it looked like some kind of runes or something abstract and cool, but nobody knew who I was. And I did another one of this. This is not as good as the previous one, but it's still good. It's still nice. And it's got a more expansive feeling, this one. Yeah, maybe with the other ones, the rocks maybe made it feel closed in and stop you. But with this one, there's like a gap. And so we feel like we can move more into the picture. Yeah, love it, love it. Oh my goodness. So maybe I shouldn't show you this, but sometimes I paint rubbish pictures. This one was rubbish. And the message for me here is, you know, I'm going to paint over this one and also paint on the back. But this one is not going to survive. But the message for me is, you know, like, you are going to paint bad pictures no matter how good you get. I've been painting for like 20 years and I still do bad paintings. And that's basically part of it. You know, you're going to do some great ones, maybe some good ones, and now and again you're going to do some ones that are not so good. I mean, the whole thing moves upwards. I'm not going to explain that today, but maybe another day, because it might be a bit boring. But you know, you do paint these bad paintings, and for me this is a bad painting, and it can be a big deal because, you know, I can get real down. I know it sounds stupid, yeah, and you can say, Gareth, you're so emotional, and you're a guy, you know. And you know, I think you get to a point in life when you get old where you're like, I don't care. This is the way I am, and this is a weakness I have. And yeah, emotions are part of being a human being. And sometimes I'll paint a crappy picture like this one and I get down and I just don't want to paint. And I think the important thing for me is to say, Gareth, you know, maybe take a few, I don't know, what the heck do I say to myself? I don't know what I say to myself, but I say, you know, maybe go for a walk, come back and let's paint. Because I guess I say this to myself, persevere or get back up, because you will paint an amazing picture. It might not be the next one. It might not be the one after that. It might not even be the one after that. It might even be, and this is a terrible thought, it might even be a month of bad paintings, but the brilliant paintings will come. And I know that because I've experienced that. So, you know, maybe that's what I say to myself. But somehow I have a way of saving myself nowadays, and it's a big deal. And I'm really happy with this. So at first, this was a scene that I loved it. When I saw it, I loved it. Maybe because of this warm orange sky, this beautiful contrast of blue and orange, cool and warm, yeah. But I thought this bit, I don't know, maybe that doesn't work. But I had a go and it ended up being brilliant. So, you know, you can look at a photo and at first you're like really attracted to it, like, wow, I love something about this. And then you look more carefully and you think, but I don't think this bit looks good or that bit looks good. I can't say for sure, but it might be good to have a go, because I was like slowly beginning to say, no, I don't think I can do a good job of this. And that was after that failed painting. So I wasn't in a very confident state, but I had a go and it worked out really well. So I love these light pink clouds up here. That's a bit tricky. And I just love the blue and the yellow and orange. It's wonderful. And I quite like this. It's a bit strange, but I quite like it. And the islands. Once again, Shikoku. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might like to live there actually. And here's another go. And this one's a little bit more of a safer attempt, I think. I like it. I like it. I think though I still need to improve it. Yeah, but I do like it. And then maybe this is the last one. So that's that boat again. And this one, I like, there's a lot of good things happening here with lines and direction. My sky went a bit wrong. Yeah. So, but there you go. But what I like about this is it's a very interesting painting and it's got a lot of feeling. Now, I don't know, I might paint over this one. I'm not sure. But there you go. Those are all my paintings. Oh my goodness. I might have some more here. I did a lot, but that's good. There was one more I wanted to show you. Yes. Where is it? I don't know, I can't find it. But it looked really good. Here's a small version of it. Don't you love the colours in this? Again, it's Shikoku, the island. Prefecture is Ehime. I love this. So I just love the colours in this. And one of the reasons this works so well is I painted the sky and then I did a glaze over the sky. At the bottom I used a yellow ochre and at the top I used a cool red, alizarin crimson. And I just loved that. It looks so beautiful. And this is just an interesting thing for me. You've got these ugly concrete tetrapods in Japan. And I really hate them. I want to see natural cliffs and beaches. But you have to adapt. And I did. And I learned how to, incorporate that into my painting and make it look good. Well, I think it looks good. And I'm so happy with this painting. So happy. And I did a bigger version. But next time, maybe, if I remember, I will show you. So I hope you enjoyed that. Apologies if I rambled and I wasn't to the point. I did my best. And if you're still listening, then I do prints and I do sell originals for very reasonable prices at the moment and maybe for a while because I really want to sell my paintings so I've got space to make new ones. So yeah, I sell my originals for very reasonable prices and I also do prints like that for very, very reasonable prices and they look beautiful. So my website is www. I don't really need to say that right, garethartist.com, and you've seen my name a lot by now, right? But that's what you have to do in a nice way. And if you go there and you go to my shop, you can buy paintings and hopefully it all works. If it doesn't, I really appreciate you letting me know. It was so difficult to get it all working. And also you can contact me on Discord. I'm garethartist and you can contact me about buying paintings, but also if you want a private teacher. And I am a very good teacher in my opinion, and you can get my private time and attention, and it really does help tremendously to have a private mentor. So much I have found. So that's all. I'll be back soon and I wish you all the best and happiness, blessings and all that good stuff. Okay, time to finish. Bye bye.